Court is in session in clause number 317194. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Stephen Michael Wilkerson. Mr. Wilkerson,
sir.
is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilkerson, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Wilkerson, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilkerson, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Wilkerson?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Wilkerson. I have before me, well, first of all, you're here represented by your attorney, Ryan Matuska. Attorney Matuska, do you waive a record in Mr. Wilkerson's case?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And Mr. Wilkerson, I have before me a document that has been filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document is titled Motion to Revoke Unadjudicated Probation. Mr. Wilkerson, in this document, it alleges that you, Stephen Michael Wilkerson, was tried in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, on May 9th of 2018 for the misdemeanor offense of evading arrest detention. Mr. Wilkerson, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
Now, this information, Mr. Wilkerson, also alleges that the court found the evidence sufficient beyond a reasonable doubt to support a finding of guilt, and you were placed on unadjudicated probation for a period of 6 months for this Class A misdemeanor. Mr. Wilkerson, do you understand what you've been charged with so far?
Yes, sir.
Now, this motion also further alleges 3 allegations and state, are you waiving allegations 2 and 3?
So moved, Judge.
And Mr. Wilkerson, the state actually is abandoning allegations 2 and 3. And what that means is the state will not be proceeding on allegations 2 and 3. They will only be proceeding on allegation number 1. And allegation number 1, Mr. Wilkerson, alleges that you, Stephen Michael Wilkerson, failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office as ordered by the court on the months of December 2019, January, February, March of 2020, as directed in violation of condition 4 of your probation order. Is that true or not true?
True.
Okay. Now, Mr. Wilkerson, are you pleading true to allegation number 1 freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true because it is true?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilkerson, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. On this document on page 2, there are a set of initials, SW, that are on a line next to a box that's checked MTRP, which means motion to revoke probation, true to allegation number 1. Mr. Wilkerson, did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 3 of the same document, Mr. Wilkerson, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Wilkerson, did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
And at the top of this same document, at the top of the next document that is titled Trial Court Certification, or Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, Mr. Wilkerson, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Did you also sign this document?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this same document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilkerson, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Matuska, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilkerson, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer States 1?
Yes, Judge. State offer States 1.
Any objections?
Objections, Your Honor.
No objection. States 1 is admitted. Mr. Wilkerson, your attorney, Mr. Matuska, is advising counsel. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Matuska, you're advising counsel, Mr. Wilkerson, is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No evidence, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Wilkerson, I will accept your true to allegation number 1. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers was freely and voluntarily given. And I'll also find that there is sufficient evidence to revoke your probation, and your probation is hereby revoked. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of true in this case, we're asking that the court revoke the defendant's community supervision and reform the judgment, ordering that he be confined to the Jefferson County Jail for a period of 10 days. We're asking the court give the defendant credit for the 10 days previously spent in custody, essentially making this a time served agreement. As it relates to the court costs, we're asking that the court utilize that time in jail to both tax and retire the court costs in this case, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Wilkerson, the state is offering that you serve 10 days in Jefferson County Jail. You now have to serve any time in Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 10 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case is $57, but you would not have to pay the $57 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Mr. Wilkerson, do you understand the state's offer?
I have a question. If that's okay.
Okay, Mr. Wilkerson, what is your question?
So you're giving me time served?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're being the state is offering 10 days in the jail, but you would not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you've already served 10 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you will be given credit for time served. The court cost in this case, Mr. Wilkerson, is $57, but you will not have to pay the $57 because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court cost will be taxed and retired. Now, Mr. Wilkerson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilkerson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Wilkerson, this will conclude your case. If you do not have anything else holding you in, you should be getting out today. Follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You're
You
welcome.
you have a good day too.
Thank you.
Mr. Matuska, I'm sorry, Judge. Mr. Matuska.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
I'm gonna need a weapon forfeiture on Davis. Did you prepare one of those?
Yes, sir.
You got the serial number in that